Yo, what's up? What's up? This is your man, Fetch the Great, checking in once again. Let's get straight to it, shall we? Because today was an eventful day, and things are moving even quicker than I anticipated when it comes to this entire Trump Epstein files debacle, right? If you saw my live from a couple days back, you know, we were breaking this all down as far as the fact that the House passed the initiative to have the bill passed along to the Senate before it could be passed along to Trump for him to execute. At that time, I anticipated that we would probably, wait a few days. Maybe Trump would mull it over a little bit and then end up ultimately executing the document, seeing as at this point, he's been taking a complete 180 in position as far as in contrast to what he was previously saying. He was vehemently against this just a matter of months ago, and now all of a sudden he's acting as if this is something that he wants. So I knew he would be signing it, but I didn't know that it was going to take place so quickly. And with that being said, let's go to CNN and let's get an update on what occurred within the last 24 hours in regards to this Epstein file debacle. All right, let's get it.
We do have some major breaking news as we come on the air tonight because President Trump has now signed the Epstein files bill into law, the final step to force the Justice Department to turn over everything it has on Epstein within the next 30 days. Part of the president's lengthy statement, I'll read it here, where he said, quote, Jeffrey Epstein, who was charged by the Trump Justice Department in 2019, not the Democrats, with an exclamation point, was a...
Wait a minute. Trump will roll over on his homeboys, won't he?
Lifelong Democrat, donated thousands of dollars to Democrat politicians, and was deeply associated with many well-known Democrat figures. The president goes on to write, perhaps the truth about these Democrats and their associations with Jeffrey Epstein will soon be revealed because I have just signed the bill to release the...
Look at that. He got it in all caps. This is how the president of the United States communicates. All caps. I have just signed the bill to release the Epstein files.
Epstein files. Trump says, as everyone knows, I asked Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune to pass this bill in the House and the Senate. That, of course, came after he fought the bill, but he concluded with, this latest hoax will backfire on the Democrats just as all of the rest have. Thank you all for your attention to this matter. Of course, this is the bill that the president spent months trying to kill. He is now taking credit for its passage on Capitol.
That's what I just said. He spent several months vehemently against this bill, and now all of a sudden he wants us to forget all of that and pretend as if he has been an advocate to have this passed all of this time. This guy's absolutely batshit crazy.
Hill, after it became clear that it was going to pass at least the House. While it's a moment that so many of Jeffrey Epstein's survivors that you've heard from here on this show have waited so long for, it is notable the president did not mention the women who fought for this bill's passage in his post tonight. The fact also that the president didn't take the opportunity to sign it today before cameras is notable, given how many bill signings and executive orders he has regularly turned into lengthy Oval Office.
What do you think that's about? I mean, we have literally seen him signing so many executive orders. He has made spectacles of it several times just over the last 9 to 10 months. And yet this bill that he signed to release the Epstein files, he decided not to get any kind of media fare for that. That has to be calculated. There has to be a reason for that. What do you think it may be?
Events and press conferences. We did hear from the Attorney General on this matter earlier. Pam Bondi was asked multiple times how her department plans to handle this process of turning over these materials to Congress, given the massive amount of data on Epstein that the Justice Department has.
Okay.
Does the new investigation by the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney prevent the department from releasing all of the remaining files?
So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents.
And all of those 33,000 that they did release up to this point, just so you guys know, they were from the Epstein estate. So that's all we have received thus far.
To the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency.
What are you doing here over the next 30 days, as we understand it.
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency while protecting victims.
Side note, I can't stand that mofo standing behind her, that fake ass FBI director that has no qualifications to be an FBI director. What's his name? Gosh, what's his fucking name? Oh, Kash Patel. This dude always looks like he just took a hit of coke. His eyes are always bucked, wide open. Have you ever heard him speak? I can't believe that in this clown world, this is our FBI director. I just think that's interesting.
Yeah.
When you say follow the law, Madam Attorney General, do you mean that you will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law.
Why do you think she continues to emphasize that? Do you think she's trying to set us up for a bit of a letdown in regards to what is actually disclosed to us, the public, the American people? She continues to re-emphasize, yes, the bill has been passed, but over the next 30 days, I will follow the law. I will follow the law. So I think Pam Bundy is making it clear that we may need to adjust our expectations, or what most people's expectations are, should I say, because my expectations are very low. I don't think that there's going to be anything earth-shattering or groundbreaking that comes about from whatever we actually get released to us when it comes to these Epstein files. I think it's going to be heavily redacted, or there's going to be nothing in there whatsoever that pertains to Donald Trump in any way. Because that's what a lot of people are looking for. Like, they're looking for blood. They're out for blood. They're hoping that it implicates Trump in some way, but I just don't think that's going to happen. And I think that's why he is so vehemently for getting it released all of a sudden, when he had been so against it for the last, what do you say, 5 to 6 months? He's been completely against it. So that leads me to believe that Trump already knows he's not in there and that he's going to be squeaky clean. That's what I think. Well, what do you think? If you disagree, let me know. I'm open to hear other contrasting points of view. Back to the video.
Again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
That's what you just said.
Now, Attorney General Bondi declined to give any explanation on how the plan to follow the law is any different from what the department has been doing already.
I'm glad she said that. As I was just saying, like, what's her point of continuing to say we are going to follow the law? We're going to follow the law. So I guess she's kind of giving that, she's saying that in order to insulate herself a little bit. You know, if it doesn't come as quickly or, you know, as rapidly as people would like for it to come out, she's letting us know that she's going to kind of piecemeal it out. That's my interpretation, at least, of what Pam Bundy just said there.
Especially given it was just 2 months ago when the FBI director told Congress this about those same Epstein files in their possession.
Yeah, replay that. Look at this fucking weasel.
We have released where President Trump's name's in the Epstein files and everybody else, and all credible information that we are legally allowed to release has been released. Pursuant to Mr. Acosta's collection of information based on the search warrants, that's all we have in our possession.
And I'm asking you, that stuff.
That's all we got. We are releasing as much as legally allowed. We are providing everything we can legally provide.
The Attorney General did try to explain why, just months after her department declared that there was no evidence that could.
One second. I want to address something that I just saw someone write. Bruce is on the loose, too. You said that the government has had these files for 20 years. Bush hid them, Obama hid them, Biden hid them, but it's all Trump's fault. No. I don't. Well, first of all, Jeffrey Epstein has not been a topic of discussion for the last 2 decades. Let's get real, guys. Or Bruce specifically. That is a false statement that you made there. I would say it came to a boiling point within the last, what would you say? Maybe last decade is where he really started becoming a hot topic. So you're saying all these people, Bush, even back, did you say Bush? So you're talking about George W. You're saying he hit them too. What good would it do for any former president to try to suffocate certain evidence about a guy who may have been a sexual predator towards extremely young or underage women? What exactly would have been the incentive there, Bruce? Please let me know. Let me know, bro. Anyways, back to it. Let's get it.
Predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. She announced those very investigations that President Trump demanded last week.
What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information. There's information that new information,
What?
additional information. And again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads.
Wait a minute, man. What did I miss there? What new information?
After her department declared that there was no evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties, she announced those very investigations that President Trump demanded last week.
What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information. There's information that new information, additional.
How many times can she say the word information in a matter of 10 seconds? What do y'all think is going on here? Do y'all think Pam Bundy is in Trump's back pocket as well? Wouldn't surprise me. She's the attorney general. That would make sense. She probably would not still be in her position if she was not collaborating and pretty much at his behest. So that would not surprise me at all.
Information. And again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads.
That would seem to differ from what the president has been saying over the course of the last few months, as his team has been trying to make the entire Epstein saga go away.
It's really a Democrat hoax. It's a Democrat hoax. It's just a hoax. The whole Epstein thing is a Democrat hoax. I call it the Epstein hoax.
I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring.
The whiplash over Trump, Bondi, and Patel's hyping and then downplaying and then hyping again the Epstein investigations
got you,
is even
Ismail.
being
I'm gonna
felt
read it
by
in
some
just
of the
a second.
president's biggest supporters in MAGA.
Let me get this clown.
I heard
out
it's
of the way right
a
quick.
hoax. And then all of a sudden, he's going to release the files. Well, I thought there was no files.
Man,
He wants an investigation now.
Exactly. What's with the sudden change of heart that Trump has had over the last 2 months? I think, all right, first, like Joe Rogan said there, what happened? I thought there was no files to be released. And we got Ghislaine Maxwell, who's in prison or supposedly in prison. We still have not confirmed that. And yet now there's no charges that even can corroborate the reason that she's there, because you said there's no files to release. And now we know that there are files to be released. And now Trump vehemently wants them released. So what is it? There's a whole lot of back and forth bullshit that's going on up there in Capitol Hill. And it's a lot of dirty shit going on, guys. Lots of dirty shit going on. And let me get to a couple of comments here. Hold on. Ismail, you were first, right? All right. So Ismail says, during the Biden administration, there was an investigation, so legally the files couldn't come out, which is the reason why they are launching a new investigation so that they can't expose the files, so that they can't do it. I actually saw something about this earlier today. There's a lot of names in there that it would be extremely problematic if it came out. I want to say it was some huge entities. Obviously, I heard JP Morgan Chase was one of them. A couple other big entities with a lot of different big names that it will be extremely catastrophic if it comes out. So they're, like you're saying here, now that they're actively going to be openly investigating some names of note, that is going to prevent the files from actually being released, or if they are released, it's going to be heavily redacted. That's what I stated in my stream a couple of days ago. That's what I thought might happen, and it does appear now that there's another active investigation all of a sudden, it's going to prevent us from having that full transparency that we were hoping to have. But does that really surprise anyone that we are not actually going to have the access that we would like? No, of course not. One more comment from, let's see, from Ismail. What happened was that they have had time to wipe Trump's name. That's the point. That's what changed, because just a matter of months ago, Trump was fully against these files coming out. Even so much to the point that he was trying to deny that there was any relevant files to be released. And now, like you stated there, and I completely agree with that train of thought, now that they've had time to fully comb through every piece and make sure that there's nothing that's criminally implicating Trump, and nothing that's going to besmirch his name or put a big stain on it from a public perception standpoint. Now he says, you know what? Now I get to play hero. You know what, guys? I want you guys to vote that bill to release those files. I'm gonna sign it. I can't wait to sign it. Trump think he's slick, man. You're not slick, Donald. We know how the game's being played. All right, Mike VQ8ZW says, this guy, hold on. Are we talking about, you talking about that fucker Cash Patel? Who are we talking about? All right, this guy worked for the CIA. Does anyone honestly think the truth is going to come out about what was really going on with him? We're not talking about Republicans or Democrats. We're talking about the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. Of course. No, listen, man. I think we can all agree that when it comes to the stories and the narratives that are generally fed and shoveled to the public, we never get anywhere near a full disclosure from the government. And yet, would you guys believe there are actually some Americans, there's some people in this country who actually believe that the government is in their best interest? The government wouldn't hide that from us. They would let us know as U.S. citizens, right? I'm telling you, man, ignorance is bliss. But there actually are people out there who are that gullible. Anyways, let's see. Next up, John Gordon, 6430. There was always an Epstein files. There wasn't actually a list. That's what he said. There was always Epstein files. There wasn't actually a list. Are you talking about a list of names where names are named? I don't think it's just a tangible list, so to speak. But I think what it is that amongst the many pages and files of correspondence, there's going to be a whole lot of names that are, spewed throughout and periodically listed as far as having some kind of involvement in what this could possibly be, as far as it being some type of malevolent scheme or ring being run with a lot of underage girls being involved. I think that's what it ultimately comes down to. Is there actual just a list of names? No, I don't think it's going to be in any format like that, obviously. But what the problem is I think a whole lot of people who are extremely powerful are going to be implicated, and they do not want that to come out. Let's see what we got here. It's not about Trump. You guys are missing the whole picture. All right. Well, elaborate, Mike. Elaborate then, man. Ismail, facts. But the funniest part is that people think that the dude who shits in a golden toilet cares about their well-being. That's the ironic part. That's why you should only get but so attached, or you should only get but so zealous or enthusiastic towards the presidential election, guys. I mean, if you don't listen to anything else I say in this entire stream, please hear me when I tell you that the president of this country is not elected, but the president is selected. By who? Well, I'll let you do research on that. But just know that in this country, we always have this illusion of free choice or an actual democracy, as if we actually have some ways that we actually make the pendulum swing from left to right. No, not at all. Not at all, guys. There's so many things that are at play beyond the scope of what the average person knows anything about, as far as what actually moves the needle when it comes to how this country is run. Let me take my tinfoil hat off. This ain't even that kind of show tonight. All right. Mike says the CIA was using Epstein for other things and absolutely knew what he was up to. Now that's believable. That's believable. We know that the CIA has a history of using criminals to do their bidding. We know that. I mean, you can even go back into, what was that, Reaganomics, the Reaganomics era, when to run Contra, they were even using drug dealers at the street level to push cocaine, use those funds to come back to the government, and then using it to fund the wars abroad. Can you believe that? If you don't believe that, I'm sorry to hear that, because that is 100% factual. Go look it up. Matter of fact, if y'all seen the show Snowfall, phenomenal show that came on FX, explained that entire rise, and it also explained pretty intimately the close hand-in-hand involvement that the government had with pushing cocaine on the streets. which ultimately turned to crack once it started being stepped on and mixed with talcum and shit like that. Anyways, Reaganomics era. Did I finish that? All right, you said that CIA was using Epstein for other things and absolutely knew what he was up to. They wanted those people under their thumb in case they wanted to blackmail them. Absolutely right. I have absolutely no objection to what you said there, Mike. I completely agree, and that's just the way the government works. It's like a quid pro quo. You know, you scratch our back, not necessarily that we're also going to scratch yours, but we'll let you keep doing all this perverse shit that you want to do, and we'll let you keep doing it. But you fuck us, you cross us in any way, we're gonna make sure that you regret that you ever did that. That's the way the U.S. government operates, bro. Let's see. One more before I let the video keep playing. Let's see. Ismail, once again, true. Epstein was Mossad. He had all his properties bugged. That's how Putin and BB can get so much out of Trump. Well, you know, Trump is terrified of. That's another. Is that really a conspiracy theory at this point? I think it's pretty clear that Trump is pretty terrified by Putin. I don't really think that's even a conspiracy theory. I think it's just pretty evident, even in his mannerisms and the way that he talks, or lack thereof, as far as how much he talks about Putin. Even though Russia is still a very much relevant and present adversary that we have to deal with. Anyways, back to the video briefly. Okay, let's go.
Listen.
Like, what is going on?
This is the end of the Trump administration. This is the beginning of the lame duck presidency. It's obvious to everyone he will trail off. He will get older. He's adorned the White House in gold. Epstein's going to suck the oxygen out of a lot of this.
I want to start tonight with CNN's senior justice correspondent, Evan Perez, who is among those questioning the attorney general today. And Evan, you know, I think she said multiple times they're going to follow the law. What stood out to you being inside that room today with Pam Bondi?
I think the whiplash that they are feeling in that building, because they really have stuck their necks out to try to defend the president, in the sense that, they've gone out and they said, there's nothing to see here. We've closed the books. And then they were trying to persuade members of Congress. You reported this, right? Lauren Boebert, and among others.
To strong-arm them.
Yep. Yes, that's another way to say it. But certainly they were there to persuade them to say, look, if there's stuff you want to see and for us to brief you on, we're here to do that. And then, the president goes out and says, we want a new I want another investigation.
Right.
And they do that. And then he sort of pulls the rug from out of under them on Sunday by saying, okay, now vote for this bill, that he was using the Justice Department all along to try.
All right, and so in case you're not following, basically, this just further corroborates what I was saying about the fact that Trump has been extremely wishy-washy about this entire matter, doing a lot of things that just completely contradict each other. And whenever you have someone who's moving like that, obviously, it indicates that, well, he's the president of the free world. So, of course, he has access to information that no one else has, right? Or maybe very a select few, because he's getting briefed by people as well. So he's doing a lot of extremely contradictory things behind the scenes, and all of a sudden he's telling everybody, all right. I know what I said before, but now I want you guys to vote to actually release that. And seeing as most people already wanted to release it, and he saw that that's the way things were moving as far as the House of Representatives were concerned, now he's vehemently behind it. But I don't think he would have been vehemently behind it or trying to push this so strongly if he did not have 100% certainty that he is not going to be implicated in any way himself. That's just my 2 cents.
The fight. So they are feeling the whiplash, and now they're kind of left in a very difficult place. Pam Bondi is now, obviously there is an investigation, and so she has to navigate how to release documents within those 30 days that they're going to comply with the law, but also satisfy the rules that are, you cannot release documents that may be relevant to an ongoing investigation.
Well, and so the president signed it today. 30 days from today would be December 18th. And so do we have any idea what the Justice Department's game plan is in terms of what they're going to release if they have more than 300 gigabytes of data and material?
Well, one of the things that we know is that some of the documents have already been redacted.
Oh shit! God damn. Well, that's no surprise though, right? That's no surprise. So, see, this is the thing. This is the thing that makes it a complete nothing burger for me. Let me know if you agree. All of this hype about these files, right? And this is what I alluded to in my previous live. We have all this hype about these files that are being signed off on, be released periodically over the next 30 days by the Justice Department. And this is obviously under Pam Bondi's jurisdiction and her discretion. But as the gentleman just said here, much of it has already been redacted. So when things get redacted, in case you don't know, that means they're all blacked out. So what's the point of us getting access to tons of files if all of the stuff that is relevant is actually blacked out? It's useless. It's irrelevant. But it makes people feel like they're getting something, when in actuality, you're still getting absolutely nothing.
For instance, to remove the names of victims, anything that would harm victims has already been done. The big question is, can they release documents related to some of the uncharged people who associated with Epstein, but who are not accused of any wrongdoing? There is a law that is supposed to protect their privacy.
Coming to the comments in just a second.
Big difference here. Some of the documents, the kind of things that you saw this week that were released by the Democrats, right? And obviously Larry Summers is an example of what happens. Those people still associated with Epstein, even though he had been convicted in Florida, continued to communicate with him. They're not accused of any wrongdoing. And so now all of those communications, I think, are fair game to be released.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because I think Mike Johnson was one of the leading voices saying that other people could get swept up in this, potentially just be embarrassed by this.
In case you guys don't know, just for the record, he mentioned Larry Summers there. And Larry Summers, in case you guys don't know, he's a very popular, very famous American economist. And ironically, I believe he was teaching at Harvard up to this point, and he actually just went on leave, ironically. Well, not ironically at all, because it's all directly correlating to the fact that he has been implicated in the Epstein files that have been most recently released. So he took a leave from Harvard, and I think he also resigned from the board of OpenAI, which is who makes ChatGPT. So just the tip of the iceberg as far as extremely big names. Is that the first domino of many? I guess we shall see in the weeks coming.
I mean, Larry Summers, it's reporting tonight he's not going to be teaching at Harvard anymore while he's under investigation. That's according to the Harvard Crimson. But I mean, that is exactly what the president is pointing to in his very lengthy post tonight, as he's saying this is going to be way worse for Larry Summers and for Democrats than for me. I mean, he seems to want that information to come out.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't know, because there are going to be mentions of President Trump in these additional documents. We know that is actually one of the problems here for him. And but the issue is,
but will there actually be mention of President Trump, or will that part all have already been either wiped out completely, or will it be redacted where we don't even have the ability to piece things together to figure out who's being referenced in the emails? That's the part that I'm struggling with now, because I just can't imagine that Trump will willingly let anything come out on his watch that is going to criminally implicate him. I just can't see that happening.
Are there other people who, again, have not been credibly accused of any wrongdoing, and do their lives get upended in that? And
matter of fact, before this goes any further, let me get back to the comments. I know I'm a little backed up. All right. Primero says Putin owning on Dump Trump has nothing to do with babies and Nazi. What the fuck is going on? Hold on. All right. Let me concentrate here, because I don't know what you're trying to say. Putin owning on dump truck has nothing to do with babies, and Nazi Russia is on Palestine's side. Just as an answer to the Bible and Putin control dump Trump cause of Epstein. I'm sorry, man. Can you just guys, is it too much to ask? I just need your comments to be grammatically sound so that I can read them clearly. That's all I ask. Not getting on you, Primero, but what the fuck was that? All right. You said another comment here. Those files are super redacted by now. No way, dump Trump. Okay, that's your nickname for Trump. Okay, I get it. would let them be seen otherwise, and you all know it. I agree. I completely agree with you 100%. I can't imagine Donald Trump, of all people, as proud, as arrogant, as self-absorbed as he is. You think he's going to allow some bad news to come out about himself, or something that could be extremely implicating from a criminal, immoral standpoint? Nah, not a chance in hell. Let's see. All right, we got darkness. Took him 11 months to scrub his name, did it? I don't know, man. Depending, they said how many? What they say? 300 gigs worth. It takes time. It takes time to wipe things completely clean sometimes, bro. The real Miss Blue says, "Hey, pretty Malteser, you again, huh?" Hello, Miss Blue. You're gonna have to tell me what the fuck a Malteser is, because, like I said, I don't know. Is that a term that they use in your country? We don't say that over here in the States. I know that a Maltese. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't a Maltese a falcon? Maltese falcon. I don't know. What is a Malteser? Explain. All right. The real Miss Blue said, "Did you look up?" She said, "Did you look up what Malteser means?" It's a type of chocolate. Oh, okay. So you're calling me a pretty piece of chocolate. I feel like that's a little bit objectifying, but okay. You know how women are. I don't want to be objectified. Can you stop objectifying me, please? I'm just playing. I don't give a fuck. Objectify away, baby. All right. We got John Gordon, 6430. That's the way all governments are run, not just U.S. What's really going on behind closed doors? Obama, corrupt. Trump, corrupt. One world government. We don't have one world government, man. We don't have one world government. I mean, don't get me wrong. Leaders from the world do absolutely convene every single year. Used to be a hidden thing as far as, the most powerful people in the world getting together to decide how the world's going to run in the next episode. But now they don't really even hide it that much, do they? If you don't know what I'm referring to, go do your research and go look up something called the Bilderberg Group. Go put your tinfoil hat on before you do this. So put your tinfoil hat on, get it nice and firm, and then go research the Bilderberg Group and go read about the meeting of the world's most powerful and most affluent, influential people meeting every single year. Different location, used to be hidden, but now they don't even try to be so covert with it. But they meet every year, and that's where they decide, how's the economy going to run this year? What are we going to do? Are we going to have to use the heart machine again? Because that earthquake last year was a little bit too strong. All right, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out the details. Let's just get a big picture about what we want to do. I'm being facetious to an extent, but at the same time, I'm really not joking. This really occurs every single year, and these people absolutely do run the world. It's a cabal in a way, you could say. Anyways, does that conclude all the comments? I believe so. Okay, I'm gonna let this video finish, and then I'm going to wrap this up. If there's no other people that want to join the conversation, add your opinion. Let me know what you think. Or you can always contest my point of view as well. This is an open dialogue here. Let's get it.
You could argue, right, that if you knew he was a convicted sex offender and you continued to associate with him, then what happens, you knew what was going to happen eventually.
Yeah. Evan Perez, thank you for that reporting. We'll see what the Justice Department does now that 30-day clock is ticking.
Yep. All right. There we go. So, the Justice Department. The Justice Department is officially on the clock. They have 30 days to fully release the file. Well, not the file, the myriad of files that they have. And as you heard Pam Bundy state earlier in the video, she said about 100 times, we are going to follow the law. We're going to follow the law. And we're going to be responsible with how we release this to make sure that we don't impact any victims. We're going to follow the law. We're going to follow the law. She said that 100 times. I get it. We get it. But she's saying it. She's reiterating that for a reason, obviously, right? So it's going to be extremely interesting to see how things unfold over the next 30 days. Once again, I anticipate that slowly but surely we're going to start getting a lot of dumps of redacted material that is ultimately going to be next to useless as far as us getting any real intimate details about anything that would be salacious in any way pertaining to Trump. Now, here's the thing. This is Donald Trump we're talking about. We're talking about a guy who never forgets an op, never forgets any of his ops, doesn't forget any of his enemies. And I think he's going to use this as a way, because I'm sure he's probably taking a look at it himself. He's all right, yeah. All right, they're talking about me right here. Y'all need to wipe all this shit. But here's this guy, I don't fuck with him. Make sure that this comes out. This comes out. Make sure this comes out about him, this, that, and the third. I think he's going to use this as an opportunity to sandbag some of his enemies. It's the Trump way, bro. That's just my guess. That's my hypothesis and my theory about what may happen. I wouldn't be surprised if we get nothing hardcore about Trump in any way, but as far as people that, just ironically, he's not on good terms with or that have crossed him in some way, I wouldn't be surprised if he allows certain excerpts about them to be completely unredacted and those things do come out in the wash, so to speak. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. As always, guys, it's been a pleasure. Like the video, subscribe, and always join the conversation. Let me know what you're thinking, all right? This is your man, Thatch the Great. I'll holler. Peace.